you know, I mean, to me, that's not my main reasons why I think the Earth is a globe. I've got other reasons, but you know, it's personal.
Nobody said anything about it being a globe, did we?
Yeah, that's what main surveyor was showing, the fact that this comports to the curvature of the Earth as we understand it, and that's what Jesse's talking about. So they are definitely talking about the shape of the planet. They're not just talking about the fact that, you know, plumb lines aren't parallel.
I got your numbers right here.
Plane surveying is not flat.
It's just as easy as 1, 2, 3.
No, they're just amateurs.
You have to open your mind.
Plane surveying is not flat.
Imagination is all you need.
No, they're just amateurs.
Don't take advice from fools.
Because
Everything that they say is in vain.
They're different.
Never take advice from fools.
no, they're just amateurs.
We all know what they do is in vain.
Yeah, Jared Kozlowski's done similar observations.
Plane surveying uses the 8 inches times the mile squared formula to correct their elevations due to curvature.
And,
Yeah,
and
it's a
again,
very interesting observation, isn't it? Because he's the only one that's done it.
well, no, I mean, I think Jared Kozlowski did the same measurement.
Oh,
if I remember rightly.
Jessica's doing something like that.
Everything is relative to you.
No, they're just amateurs.
You just have to say it in generality.
I think Jared Kozlowski.
Just like those straight lines of
I just
curving.
Googled reciprocal zenith angle.
Drive down the road, don't you ever swerve.
I think Jared Kozlowski.
I don't know.
No, he did it at altitude to minimise atmospheric emissions.
All of this goes.
No, they're just amateurs.
Never take advice from fools.
I think Jared Kozlowski.
Everything that they say is in vain.
No, they're just amateurs.
Never take advice from fools. 'Cause everything that they do is in vain.
So, is it accurate for geodetic surveying? These two different instruments in this video? No. No. No.
Well, I just Googled reciprocal zenith angles in videos, and the first 4 that come up are different videos by Jesse Kozlowski.
I think Jared Kozlowski.
I know the game that you're playing.
I just Googled
And I know exactly what's on your mind.
reciprocal zenith angles.
You got your playbook, it's alright.
I just Googled
Your model dictates what you will find.
I just Googled
And I don't know
It's really the point of this video that
where all of this goes.
these two lighthouses
Don't take advice from fools. 'Cause everything that they say is in vain.
well, they're below the horizontal crosshair when each
Never take
instrument is set
advice
horizontal, but each one
from
seems to be
fools.
interpreting horizontal a little
We
different.
all know what they do is in vain.
That would be a very big claim, that, right? Those are the guys.
No, they're just amateurs. They're not the guys that, you know. I mean,
Amateurs?
yeah, of course they're amateurs. I mean,
Yes,
you know, when it comes to,
an amateur what?
well, when it comes to sort
The
of
main surveyor's
geodetic-
an amateur what? What are the amateurs at doing?
in this debate forum,
surfaces, even if they're disconnected in different
Say that again.
16.2 arc seconds
From what?
from 180 degrees, with an instrument that was accurate to about 2 or 3 arc seconds.
because it responds, you know, let's imagine you're
How do you do it though?
Where was that angle taken? Like, can you explain us the process?
Sure, I'll post a video and you can watch his method. He goes through the entire methodology.
Can you explain the
Why?
process?
Why do I have to do it? I've done it about a dozen times. It's a bit boring, Bev.
Because
You
do
said
it
just
if
a
you
minute
want.
ago you wouldn't
It's easy
say
to-
anything. No, wait. You said just a few minutes ago you wouldn't use a word you didn't know the meaning or how to use it. But now
Sure,
you're claiming
which word do you think I don't know the meaning of that I use?
you said I wouldn't use a word or say something that I didn't mean. I didn't know have an understanding of. Now you're using.
Which word didn't I understand that I used?
I didn't say you used a word you didn't understand. You
Well,
made
that's why I say if you can't
statement.
say what you mean, how can you mean what you say? And then I went on to say, you know, understanding the meaning of the words that you use are important because that's about effective communication. So
you wouldn't.
that was the context that I put it up from. So again, in that context, what word did I use that I didn't understand the meaning of, do you think?
I did, and I was using that what you just said as an example of not you saying something you don't mean, meaning something you don't, saying something you don't mean. And if you
Well,
don't,
okay, so what he basically did was he took an auto station and then he set up a sighting rod. I think it was about 800 yards away. It's a little while since I watched the video. I can go and crib it back. He then took multiple measurements from that during a variety of times a day. And over a number of days, he recorded all the atmospheric conditions that he could gather between those 2 points. He then repeated those observations in reverse. So he then did his return run. And then what he did is he then used the fact of 180 degrees would be a horizontal, from the, so 180 degrees is where those two lines meet, the flat plane. And what he found out was it wasn't. They were intersecting each other, and the deviation from that 180 degrees was 16.2 arc seconds was his average mean.
So he'd rather trust the optics over the actual. What was he over water? Did you say?
No, he did it at altitude to minimise atmospheric conditions.
And this is the main surveyor, is it?
Yeah.
Strange that he's the only. Have you got any?
Versus Witzik.
Have you got any others?
Yeah, Jared Kozlowski's done similar observations.
What for the plumb lines? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure.
What was the reading to? Like I know you said a deviation from 180, but what was the reference to?
He basically, so you establish your plumb, and then he's taking, then he's taking basically a level plane from that, creating a horizontal, and then he's seeing if those two lines intersect correctly, and they don't, they deviate.
How will we quantify that difference between the two? Well, not by this process. That would be a process of going out and with the auto level performing a 2-peg test and calibrating it after the fact until we get the 2-peg test working as close to perfect as we can get it. And an auto level, remember, it's really only meant for those short distances. We're only looking, 1 to 200 feet with an auto level, more or less. Not, 8 miles and 23, 24 miles. So this is unfair to the auto level also. The auto level is not accurate to that distance. And then with the theodolite, it would be taking it to a place with known values, known measurement values expected, right? So we can expect what the measurement values would be. That's what you would do with the theodolite. Like take you to a calibration baseline, or compare it to an instrument that is well calibrated, and you've established points that have known values, and you compare those values that you get out of the instrument to what is known, and then you can make adjustments after that. But that wasn't the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video was just to show quickly that, hey, we've got both these lighthouses below these crosshairs, and the farther one, which is higher, is far below the closer one.
I feel like you're missing a bit of information.
The reason he did it at altitude was to minimize things like atmospheric refraction. Because obviously, when you're close to water, you get much more extreme effects. As soon as you get a bit of altitude, then that minimizes it.
Ice, yeah. Definitely don't do it over ice.
Actually, ice is not so bad because you're taking a lot of once you get down to about minus 8-10 degrees, you're starting to take most of the humidity out of the atmosphere. So actually you get a lot less.
Well, I know
refraction.
someone who's done some work over ice, and they've got a massive variance in looking through a horizontal over massive long distances that the tool's not designed to do.
This tool, an auto level is designed to do what he does, what he was doing over the distances that he was using on. Now, that was another thing. He went into the specifications of the equipment he used. It's why I think, whether you agree with the result or not, he went through his methodology, and I think that's always a good sign. He counted for standard deviation. He counted for instrument accuracy tolerances.
Hello, everyone. So, what's happening in this video? What's really the purpose of this video? We see, looking through the scope of an auto level, and a theodolite. And as noted in the video, they're not the same. They're different instruments, and they may have different calibration settings. And that the crosshairs, when you look through the scopes and see the crosshairs compared to the lighthouses, they're different. And I had noted that they would be. They're different. And I had noted that they would be. They're different. And I had noted that they would be. Let's see. Get that to play a little bit. Okay. So we see through the auto level, there is that space. And it, just we see a space, and this is Seguin Island over here. And then if we fast forward to the theodolite, we see at the crosshair, there's a bigger gap there. Well, that was noted in the video. I said that the crosshair was very far above the lighthouse. This video wasn't really about explaining why that difference exists, only that it's really the point of this video that these two lighthouses are, well, they're below the horizontal crosshair when each instrument is set horizontal, but each one seems to be interpreting horizontal a little different. But each one seems to be interpreting horizontal a little different. But each one seems to be interpreting horizontal a little different.
So, I think, regardless of whether you agree with the
if he'd have
observation or not,
used
he
the
did a good
auto
job.
level, sorry mate, if he'd have used the auto level
station.
and just done it like any other surveyor would over a short distance and done it, like went the distance and then came back to see if he could close the loop, that's probably the best way to do it, I'd say, rather than
that's what he did. That's exactly. He basically closed his loop by doing his return runs.
So you're talking about the main surveyor?
Yeah.
What tools are you using then? Sorry, what are you talking about?
I'll go and post the video.
Are you measuring
all the
angles?
details in there. I don't normally bother to memorize all this kind of stuff.
When you said he was measuring angles, I thought you meant theodolite, not auto level.
No, I'll go and drag it up.
He said auto station.
Yeah.
What's an auto station?
If you set your equipment up and you've got it set, let's say you're using a theodolite, you can do that angle measurement. But I still don't follow what he's citing to get some kind of deviance or deviation.
I mean, I don't know. I've seen a couple of his videos, and in one of them, his calculations from his surveying and his expertise, he calculated that the radius was 2,700 miles, which is, I don't know what he said.
Never seen that one.
8% off. Yeah, a lot of people ignore the pertinent stuff in his videos.
He's got like three, doesn't he?
Apart from those three that you mentioned, are there any more like other surveyors? Presented real evidence.
It's in surveying textbooks.
Okay, Austin, if you don't mind, I'd like to address where you talked about plane surveying. Plane surveying is not flat. Plane surveying uses the 8 inches times the mile squared formula to correct their elevations due to curvature.
What, the deviance?
Okay, maybe in a book, but is there anyone demonstrating anywhere, like on a YouTube video? Anyone but the three that are on?
I've just posted one.
Plane surveying is not flat.
Generally, this is something that's done to sort of convince flat earthers, and
plane surveying is not flat.
I don't think this is a point that will ever convince anybody, because
plane surveying is not flat.
Can we get Babs to stop calling them fake surveyors? The main surveyor. It's not nice to call them fake surveyors. Babs.
He certainly seemed, as a lay person, as someone who's not a surveyor, but having read a couple of bits on it now. So I'm not saying I'm any form of expert on it. I've just bothered to take a bit of time to read some stuff. Mm-hmm. He seemed to be pretty consistent in his method. I'm a bit of a stats guy, so when I start to see the fact he's including instrument tolerances in,
plane surveying uses the 8 inches times the mile squared formula to correct their elevations due to curvature.
That kind of satisfies me a little bit.
But each one seems to be interpreting horizontal a little different.
I do know that he posted the equipment that he used, the method that he used. So, go and have a look and critique away.
So, what's happening in this video? What's really the purpose of this video? We see, looking through the scope of an auto level, and a theodolite. And as noted in the video, they're not the same. They're different instruments, and they may have different calibration settings. And that the crosshairs, when you look through the scopes and see the crosshairs compared to the lighthouses, they're different. And I had noted that they would be.
Yeah, cool.
But I don't think it's fair for you to expect me to be able to repeat his experiment verbatim when he's actually recorded it.
No, have
you
looked over the method that he used?
Yeah,
thoroughly.
When I looked at the method, it seemed pretty solid. It seemed reasonable. That's about the best I can sort of deliver from that point.
It's just the only thing that confused me is you said that he looked at over 800 yards, roughly.
I think it was 800 yards. As I say, I wasn't sure, so it could have been 800 feet. I'm not sure.
Increments of 100 yards then, or was it just one 800-yard observation?
I think he did a centre point measurement, so I think it was an ABC. But again, go and have a look at the vid. I'm not sure.
No, fair enough. I won't keep asking you questions, but that was just.
Now, if you want to talk about handling reflectometry and measuring distances using sort of signals, then I'm much more your man on that. I'm happier.
Now we're just interested.
That's something I have done, but not really to measure curvature. But
no, we're just interested. This is plumb lines, right? Not curvature. This is plumb line deviance.
So is it elevation deviance or curve deviance?
Well, elevation. When if you read a little bit into the surveying side of things, the elevation bit is not so important.
No, it is. If you're 10 foot up on a building, and I'm only 5 foot on my building, we're going to have a deviance, and you're going to call that a curve, Goofy.
No. We've got to stick on the. This is a claim that the main surveyor has measured plumb line deviance, right? Vertical, the deviance of a vertical. That there is only one citation on the internet, and that's the same guy, but he's been proved to be a bit suspect. But I mean that like his surveying credentials are a bit suspect, to say the least. His methods, as long as you've looked over them, foolish, because you're the one showing it as a proof of something, and if you've looked over it, then that's fine. But I mean, I'd advise everybody to have a look over it.
Yeah,
it's a very interesting observation, isn't it? Because he's the only one that's done it.
Well, no, I mean, I think Jerry Kozlowski did the same measurement.
Oh, no.
Rightly.
Jesse Kozlowski wouldn't be doing something like that.
I'm fairly certain he did. It was a while ago, but I know.
I'd listen to it properly because he's a bit of a wizard, Jesse Kozlowski. He leaves you with the impression that you think he said something, but he's manipulated you into thinking it yourself.
Well, I just Googled reciprocal zenith angles and videos, and the first 4 that come up are different videos by Jesse Kozlowski.
Yeah, that's the same guy.
He says not Jesse.
Yes, and he's got 4 different videos of reciprocal zenith angles.
Yeah, I was pretty sure he did do it. Again, I just it's been a while, and I don't try to commit the stuff to memory. It's a bit like saying, what was the name of the character that Robert De Niro played in Brazil?
It was Jesse that said that the water level drops away from the horizontal as well, also.
Well, sure it does.
Yeah. Right, Jesse, you said the level is not horizontal. So is the level a measurable drop from the horizontal?
I did not say that the level is not horizontal. I said horizontal and level are coincident with each other at one point only, and that's at the plumb line where the observer is.
Oh yeah, I heard
that. The level surface drops down from the horizontal plane at a rate of 8 inches times the distance in miles squared. How many times?
Measurable, right?
My question is, how many times? Oh yeah, it's measurable. It was derived.
That's all I wanted to confirm.
Is
it measurable from the ground?
Hold on, Brian.
Measurable from the ground?
Hold on, Brian. Try thinking, and Jesse had something going here. You can measure this. Have you tried measuring this?
seen
so
everything you've done,
you
man.
are saying that a water level drops away from the actual level. You know, when you set up an auto level,
I didn't say
they're
that.
different, aren't they?
No, not really. An auto level.
George, I was asking. What are you doing?
An auto level
You're speaking for Jesse, George.
I can't join in. You can't either, man.
George, let me talk to this man.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Jesse.
Thanks. Okay. So how many more times must I explain this to you? I've explained this to you on Twitter, on YouTube, and now we're here in person finally talking to each other.
Yeah.
How many more times?
You're saying that level drops from the horizontal. A level is a tool that establishes a horizontal.
My question to you is, this is my question. How many more times do you want me to repeat this same
I haven't heard one straight answer. Give him a straight answer.
All right, Brian, I'm going to have to lose you from the call. Only Try Thinking and Jesse Kozlowski are the only two persons should be heard right now.
So that's my question to you is, how many more times do you want me to repeat the identical answer I've been giving you? I don't know. Is this months now since you started following me on Twitter? And
okay, well, can I go over it then and tell you what I understand, and you can just confirm or deny it, right? Just to make sure. You're saying that you can set up a level.
No, I just asked you a question. I'm asking you this. How many more times are you going to ask
just this one? Just this one, Jesse. So if you make it sure and let everybody know that you have definitely answered the question that I've asked, then that'll be the last time, Jesse. Promise.
So this is it. Drum roll. This is it, right, Brian? What's your name?
Do you know the question? Do you want me to repeat the question again?
Yes, you're going to, but I wanted you to answer me that one question. How many more times? You're saying this is it.
Right, yeah. If you answer the question this time properly and not obfuscate it.
Have you seen my answers before?
You've never really answered the question. That's why I keep having to ask to clarify, Jesse.
All right, let's try it.
Okay. Do you want me to give you the question then from full?
Yeah, let's pretend it's the first time.
Okay. I'm at the side of a canal and I have set up an auto level. Right, that is establishing a horizontal line of view, right, through the crosshairs.
Correct.
Right, and now I am at the side of a canal. Now that canal is water level. It is horizontal too, I say, but you say it drops away. Now, can you measure that drop of the water level away from the horizontal level of your auto level?
Perfect. Let's try to, Jesse, address you without interruptions. Go ahead, Jesse.
Yes.
That's pretty clear.
Can you do it without using perspective?
Why not? Why not refer?
I don't think that was that it. Was that it? I heard Brian. I heard George, but it was supposed to be Jesse and Bev, like sorting this out and sealing it up for the last time.
Yeah,
so let's give it an extra minute.
So you say it can be measured. What sort of distance can it be measured at, please?
What distance would you like to try to measure it at?
I don't know. I'm asking you, what distance can you measure it at? All of these people around here are thinking you can do it. So tell these people at what distance you can measure the drop of the water level from the auto level, please.
Have you not seen the work that I have done showing that? Because I have done this very thing. Did you see it?
You've measured the drop of the water level from horizontal.
Correct.
Oh, well, where is that? Is that the one where you looked across the lake at like half a mile?
I've done two of the different lake tests. That's correct.
Right. Does it drop from both sides? Is it like a relative drop from your position?
I think you just figured this out. I have been telling you that it occurs from your observation point. So if you're on the North Shore
That's not what horizontal does, though, is it, Jesse? That's not.
No. If you're on the North Shore looking toward the South Shore, the horizontal crosshair will extend out into the distance. And if you look at the picture, you know what? I'll show. You want to look at a link here? I'll show you something. While we're on this, why don't we just conclude it? Just give me a second.
Jesse, you know you can share your screen, right?
Not on the computer I'm on, and I'm using my phone to talk to you guys. So give me a second.
Bev, I'm next.
As a surveyor, just a minute, Bri. As a surveyor, Jesse, do you not consider a water level as a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference? Then,
are you talking about? I can't ever remember my own password. Are you talking about a water level being the tubes of water?
Yeah, just tube. Yeah, just a tube filled with water. Yeah.
You know what they use them for, like local construction projects. You know, they don't measure miles and miles and miles with those, right?
Well, I mean, like a canal's like a big one of them, really, isn't it? It's just a big trough filled with water, right?
It's not the same as a cube filled with water.
Farmers Boy, did you say they're curved?
You understand it's not the same as a cube used over 20 metres.
Well,
you're all jumping in to help him. Is it?
No, I'm not helping anyone. It was just a comment. Yeah, canal's curved.
So that's Jesse Kozlowski again. So that's good. It's a pity he's not around here to explain this to anyone, isn't it? Perhaps he'll come round and help you guys out, right? Because it doesn't really seem to fit geometrically.
Well, I mean, to me, that's not my main reasons why I think the Earth is a globe. I've got other reasons, but that's personal.
Well, nobody said anything about it being a globe, did we?
Yeah, that's what main surveyor was showing. The fact that this comports to the curvature of the Earth as we understand it, and that's what Jesse's talking about. So they are definitely talking about the shape of the planet. They're not just talking about the fact that plumb lines aren't parallel to each other. They're saying the inference from that is the fact that it seems to comport to the size of the Earth as we understand it, and we see the curvature we expect.
No, there's no curve. You're goofy.
That would be a very big claim. That, right? Those are the guys.
No, they're just amateurs, mate. They're not the guys that
Amateurs.
I mean, yeah, of course they're amateurs. I mean,
Jesse
when it comes to
an amateur what?
Well, when it comes to sort of
the main surveyor's an amateur what? What are the amateurs doing
in this debate forum? I think if you look at the general consensus from science and our understanding of geography and the world in general, it's pretty much the accepted position that the Earth is a globe. You may disagree with that point, and I accept that, but that is the general consensus.
Nobody's asking them to come for a debate, are they?
In geodetic survey.
Nobody's asking them for a debate.
That put satellites up into space. And
it's not accepted, it's a forced narrative.
Josh, you do understand that general consensus, that's what we're questioning, right?
Yeah.
That entire premise that you just laid down as something to take as truth. That's what flat earthers, quote unquote, is questioning.
Yeah, it's just I don't understand the reasons that you hold for it. That's the rationale behind it.
Wait a minute. You're saying that you don't understand the rationale behind people questioning the authority? Have you ever read history or looked into history any at all? And if you have, you've noticed that the provocateurs of the disasters is usually the authority, the government, right?
I like this guy.
I like that. Yeah, Matrix, I know a little bit about history.
Okay, and every time there's catastrophe and disaster, and you read into history, who do you notice that are the perpetuators or the provocateurs of this disaster? Based on lies. Isn't it usually the authority, the people that you're holding as the truth bearers?
No, I mean, everybody tells lies every now and then. I don't think it's just the purview of government or people in power. I think people lie to themselves. Self-deception is an interesting thing because it's almost like a subconscious.
No kidding.
Yeah, I like the main surveyor, Jesse
like globes and spheres and curves. Yeah.
Again, as I say, I understand that you agree, you disagree with kind of, the narrative of the globe Earth. But as I say, I don't understand the rationale you have behind that, the reasons you have.
I just disagree with the techniques that these surveyors are meant to be doing. And the principles, the geometric principles that they're using.
If you enjoyed the content, please support On the Level and future projects. Membership subscriptions available now, or come and get involved at Next Level Discord server. Thank you.